All right, welcome to this explainer. I want you to do me a quick favor. Just completely wipe your mind blank for a second and try to imagine this exact scenario.
You've been working incredibly hard on this massive project, right? And you finally did it. All the doors fly open, the obstacles just vanish, and everything is going exactly as you planned. But despite all that incredible success, your heart suddenly feels unimaginably heavy. Deep down, this inner voice is just screaming at you to stop. Like, do not take this path. It feels exactly as though someone is frantically trying to warn you that this perfect deal, this golden opportunity, is actually going to lead to total disaster. So the chilling question we really have to ask ourselves here is, who exactly is sending you that warning?
Section 1. The Unseen Warning. Okay, let's dive into this. To answer that chilling question, we actually have to travel back to 1957. Picture a 27-year-old PhD student named Hugh Everett III. He sits down with his professor at Princeton University and makes this deeply unsettling confession. He tells him that when he makes decisions, he often receives signs. Warnings. And he firmly believed these warnings weren't coming from the beyond, but from another version of himself living in a parallel world. Everett proposed that for every single decision, every moment, and every possibility, a completely separate universe is created. Well, his professor thought the idea was just so bizarre that he practically rejected it right on the spot. Everett was absolutely devastated. He ended up leaving physics entirely, went to work for the CIA, turned to heavy drinking, and tragically died at just 51, completely unacknowledged. But here's the wild part. Today, his rejected idea is considered one of the most serious and profound theories in all of quantum physics.
Section 2. The quantum split.
Let's look at how this builds from a tragic piece of history into hard, undeniable science. Because look, parallel universes aren't just science fiction imagination anymore. The whole origin of this concept is grounded in one of the most famous tests in scientific history, the double-slit experiment. To really get this, we have to look at quantum superposition. So in the double-slit experiment, scientists fire an electron at a barrier. Now, an electron is a particle, right? So it should act like a tiny solid ball. But when fired at a barrier with two slits, it actually passes through both slits simultaneously. It is literally in two places at the exact same time. Now, scientists initially thought their measurements were just busted, so they ran it thousands of times. The result never changed. And this brilliantly illustrates our core mystery. We're looking at an electron acting as a solid particle versus a wave that's holding multiple states simultaneously. Hugh Everett looked at this exact data and made this absolute genius leap. He claimed that these possibilities don't just split temporarily, they are actually happening simultaneously in completely separate, distinct universes. Basically, if that's true, a version of you is walking down every single path you ever decided not to take. Section 3. 3 Theories of Reality. Which brings us to the structure of reality itself. You see, the parallel universe concept isn't just some standalone, isolated idea. It's actually a robust family of theories, and physicists generally look at 3 main approaches to explain how the whole shebang could work. First up, we have the many worlds interpretation. That's Hugh Everett's theory, where every single possibility branches off into its own reality. Then there's the bubble universe, also known as cosmic inflation. This one suggests that after the Big Bang, the universe's expansion just sort of stopped in certain pockets while accelerating in others. This creates these distinct universes that look a lot like bubbles and soap foam. And finally, we have the mathematical universe, proposed by MIT physicist Max Tegmark. He argues that any reality that is mathematically possible absolutely must physically exist out there. Now, consider the absolute gravity of these words. Multiple universes are not philosophical speculation, they are a mathematical consequence. Stephen Hawking didn't just say this decades ago as some young renegade. He submitted this in his final scientific paper in March 2018, literally right before his death. The math itself demands a multiverse. But we have a major hurdle here. We can't physically observe or test these other universes. And, in science, if you can't test it, you can't officially prove it.
Section 4. The identity paradox.
So to make sense of this untestable science, we gracefully pivot over into the realm of philosophy. We have to address a deeply mind-bending problem. If these other universes really exist, who exactly are you in those other realms? This introduces us to Oxford philosopher Derek Parfit, who wrote extensively about this exact problem of personal identity. Parfit argued that your physical body isn't actually what makes you, well, you.
Instead, it's the continuous, unbroken chain of your memories and your consciousness. I want you to seriously ponder this for a second. If another version of you out there looks exactly like you, but they have completely different memories because they made totally different life choices, are they still you? Think about it. Every chance you missed, they took. Every horrible mistake you made, they smartly avoided. Ask yourself right now, is knowing that reassuring to you, or is it deeply disturbing? Section 5. Choices, Faith, and Dreams. That kind of anxiety about our choices leads us directly into our next perspective. Because when science hits a dead end and philosophy just leaves us with a massive existential crisis, theological perspectives often step in to offer a really fascinating bridge. And what's incredible here is that Islamic scholarship, for instance, doesn't contradict this hard quantum science at all. In fact, it takes it a fascinating step further. Consider the established Islamic concept of alim al-masal. The Quran mentions in Surah Fatir that the Creator creates what He wills. Historical scholars like Ibn Arabi wrote extensively about multiple realms existing way beyond our physical observation. Islam has long held this belief in realms that exist entirely separate from our physical world, realms of possibilities, visions, and dreams. So this ancient belief in unseen lives and realms aligns surprisingly beautifully with the modern physics of a multiverse. So the crucial point to resolving this anxiety is found right here, in Surah Al-Kahf. What your hands did is for you. This powerfully resolves the whole fear of parallel choices that Derek Parfit's philosophy just couldn't quite answer. Like, if another version of you made a terrible mistake or achieved absolute greatness, does it impact your soul? The rule of accountability here is absolute. Intent and action in this current reality are literally all that matter. You are only responsible for the moment you're living in right now. But that still leaves the mystery of those warnings, right? Could dreams be the mysterious bridge between these universes? Humanity has been totally confused by dreams for thousands of years. Just look at these historical examples. The Pharaoh in the time of Joseph had a dream of 7 years of prosperity and 7 years of famine, a vision that literally altered the fate of an entire empire. Or take Abraham Lincoln. He actually saw his own funeral in a dream just days before his assassination. Are these just random brain synapses firing off in the night, or are they cross-universe warnings from a version of you that already walked down that dark path? And this brings our narrative full circle, right back to where we started. In his own diary, after a literal lifetime of rejection, carrying the weight of a theory nobody believed in, Hugh Everett wrote, "In another branch of the universe, I may have been proven right." It really highlights his lingering, poignant hope right before his death. And, looking at quantum physics today, he actually was right. So I want to end this explainer by leaving you with one final, deeply provocative question. If the math is right, and there is a parallel universe out there where another version of you is living the exact perfect life you always dreamed of, what should this version of you do right here, right now, with the choices in front of you? Think about it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I really hope this changes how you look at your next big decision.